So, in the last few videos, we gathered the 6 missing Sky characters, and now that we have all of them, you want to warp over to Kakariko Village, enter the Sanctuary, and go down to the basement where Shad is hanging out once more. You want to set the Sky book to one of your item buttons, and then present it to the knowledgeable guy. He's very impressed that you somehow found the missing letters, and now he's certain that the completed word will work. He will then hold out the book and the dagger towards the statue, again, and mumble some more. It's a bit longer than the last time, which is no surprise, since it is indeed longer. Kind of strange when you think about it, he's talking for a long time, it's not like more like a sentence than a whole word. After a moment, the odd shape on the belly of the owl statue will glow, similar to the things in the Temple of Time, and then it will disappear. Shad will remark that now the statue looks just like all the other ones. He then gets very frustrated and confused, and after a moment of silence, he apologizes and says he has to go cool off before trying to figure this out. Also, just watch him as he's walking off. You see him, and now you don't. Poof, he just suddenly disappears mid-stride. Anyways, I just feel really bad for that guy. He has no idea that he's actually helping out Link a ton, but, you know, he just keeps getting depressed and feels like he's a failure. Poor guy. So after watching him walk off, you want to go ahead and place the statue in front of his, in front of that area so that he's all blocked away. Ha ha ha, he can't chase after us. Head on through the passage and go down the stairs to find something you probably didn't expect. Link stands there watching the giant cannon for a moment, but Shad apparently hears the triumphant music and comes to see what's happening. He investigates the thing and exclaims that it must be the sky cannon that was mentioned in his father's notes. Oh wow! After a moment though, he gets depressed because he's unsure how anyone could use it to get to the sky. I think the answer to that is pretty obvious. It's a freaking cannon. But I'm sure he's referring to the fact that it's sort of buried and very old. You want to walk forward and speak with Midna, who will ask you what you want to do, but once you select Warp, then she will mention that Shad is still watching and we can't really do anything while he's there. I don't see that it really matters, but whatever. You want to head over and talk to him, and here, my friends, is the only time in Zelda history where Link's silence actually makes someone feel awkward. The NPCs never mention Link's lack of speech other than to say something like, "You're a man of few words, ain't you, sonny?" After a moment of silence, though, Shad will take the hint and ramble a bit about being in the way and how he should really disappear at times like this. Times like what? Probably the greatest discovery of your entire life? Someone else butting in on your research that you've been working on for years and you just walk away? What does he expect Link is going to do with the old rusty cannon anyways? He's not going to investigate it further? I don't know. That just bugs me. Anyways, just before Shad leaves, he'll mention that you should probably go find a cannon expert to see if something can be done about it. Luckily, we do know of such a person, so Midna apparently feels bad for sending Shad away, but we're here to work. You want to stand next to the cannon and warp it on over to Lake Hylia, where Fyer and his cannon are located. Now that we have the Sky Cannon, all the parts and pieces here in Lake Hylia, just below the warp point, we'll be able to talk to Fyer over here. So you want to head over to the cannon and speak with the short clown dude, who will immediately notice that the cannon is over there next to Lake Hylia, and he'll glance over at it and he'll chuckle because he thinks that he's inspired you to build your own now that you've had a taste of his flights. He goes on to insist that Link gives him a tour, so he will then move over to the Sky Cannon itself. After glancing at it, he'll say it's kind of ancient looking, as well as not even capable of working in its current state. Bummer. He quickly says, though, that he could probably fix it and get it back in working order. He then hesitantly tries to gouge us with a hefty price of 300 rupees. My heart. Since rupees are overly abundant in Twilight Princess, especially at this point in the game, this shouldn't sting too much, so pay up and then he'll chuckle again, saying that he'll only be a moment. I find this very ironic that this seemingly very lazy guy is capable of working so hard, but not only that, but for several days straight, as you can see by the sun and the moon like flying past. But when you talked to him before, he was constantly saying how tired and lazy he was. Oh, I don't want to do anything. But I suppose this is his pride and joy, and this is what he really loves to do, is actually build cannons, so maybe in another life he would have been a better mechanic or go on to invent elevators or something. Fyer will then finally tell you that it's ready, explaining that even though it looks kinda junky, it is pretty darn powerful. More so even than his own cannon. In fact, he thinks that it will blast you straight to the heavens. Yes! He then apologizes for forcing you to give him so many rupees, and he tells you to go have fun. I almost wish there were more things like this in this game that you could pay rupees to have repaired or whatever, because, or maybe even having to buy Epona rather than just starting out with her, because that would just give you something to actually save up your rupees for and not make them so useless in this game. Anyway, once he wanders off, you can circle around to the back of the cannon where you'll find a target. Now if you're all ready for the next dungeon, use the Clawshot to get in. You'll then see Uku and Uku Jr. come running up and hop in before the latch shuts. That concludes this chapter, guys, so join me for the next one where I will meet up with you guys in the City in the Sky.